A child is about to walk into a classroom. She is 7 years old. She has a backpack. She is nervous in the way all children are nervous on the first day of school. Stomach tight, fingers fidgeting, not quite sure where to look. Completely ordinary, except for one thing. Outside the window, the sky is the color of a rusted nail. The temperature is -60 degrees. The air is 95% carbon dioxide. And the nearest other school, the nearest other building of any kind, is 225 million kilometers away. She was born here. She has never been anywhere else. She has never stood in rain, or felt soil under her bare feet, or seen a horizon that wasn't sealed behind a pressurized wall. She doesn't know what a forest smells like. She has never heard thunder, but she is, by every definition that matters, a child. And today is her first day of school. Here's what nobody talks about when they imagine humanity's future on Mars. They talk about rockets. They talk about radiation shielding and life support, and the 26-month orbital windows that dictate when resupply ships can even attempt the journey. All of that is real. All of that matters enormously. But none of that is the story. The story is a 7-year-old, nervous, fidgeting with her backpack straps, about to walk into a room full of other children for the first time. The story is always the humans. Before we can understand what that school will look like, what it will teach, what it will feel like, what kind of people it will produce, we need to understand something most people overlook entirely. These children won't just be humans living somewhere new. They will, in ways that are measurable and physiological and permanent, be something the human species has never produced before. Start with something as basic as the skeleton. Bone doesn't form in a vacuum. It builds itself throughout childhood in response to the forces placed on it, the specific, relentless push and pull of the world it lives in. On Earth, that means gravity. The familiar 9.8 meters per second squared that your body has been negotiating with every single moment of your life. Running, jumping, climbing, falling. All of it is your skeleton in continuous conversation with gravity. And the skeleton responds by getting denser, stronger, built for the demands. Mars has 38% of Earth's gravity, not zero, but dramatically, fundamentally less. A skeleton that forms in that environment doesn't build itself for Earth's demands. It builds itself for Mars's demands, which means the children who grow up there may never be able to come back. Not because Mars has trapped them in some dramatic sense, but because the planet their bodies literally built themselves around is not Earth. Earth's gravity might feel to a Mars-born teenager the way it would feel to you if someone doubled yours. Overnight, crushing, dangerous, wrong, let that sit. Because it means something enormous. The first generation of children born on Mars may be the first humans in history for whom Earth is biologically a foreign planet. They won't be colonists who chose to leave home. They will simply be home now, the school. Early Mars settlements will be small, not from lack of ambition but from arithmetic. Initial colonies will be measured in dozens, then hundreds of people, which means the first school on Mars might have 8 students, maybe 12, possibly a single room with multiple ages, like the one-room schoolhouses that dotted rural America a century ago, an arrangement we consider archaic now, but which humanity used for most of its educational history. And those children will know each other in a way that children on Earth rarely experience anymore. Not in the social media sense, not followers and curated versions of yourself, in the old sense, in the way that people who share walls, shared air, shared water, and the same 40-odd faces for years on end come to know each other. Every fear visible, every bad day witnessed, every strength and flaw on display because there is nowhere else to look. This sounds claustrophobic, and sometimes it will be, but here's what the research on isolated, confined communities consistently shows. When the group is small enough and the stakes are real enough, and survival is genuinely collective, people form bonds of extraordinary durability. The data from Antarctic winter overstations, from long submarine deployments, from simulated Mars missions like the HIC's habitat in Hawaii, all points the same direction. The communities that make it through don't do so because they were placed with compatible personalities. They do it because they decided, consciously or not, that the person beside them mattered. Children understand this instinctively. Before there were schools, before there were classrooms, children learned by being embedded in communities where the things they were learning actually mattered to the people around them. On Mars, that condition will be more purely true than anywhere on Earth has been in centuries. So what do you actually teach in a school where the building itself is the only thing standing between the students and instant death? The obvious answers first: mathematics, engineering, atmospheric chemistry. A settlement that loses the ability to diagnose a failing CO2 scrubber because no one in the next generation understands how it works is not a settlement for very long. Technical literacy won't be optional. It will be load-bearing. On Earth, a child who struggles with science can still have a perfectly good life. On Mars, the relationship between understanding your environment and surviving in it is considerably more direct. But this is The part that surprises people, the most serious researchers studying long-duration space habitation aren't primarily worried about technical training. They're worried about something harder to measure. They're worried about meaning. Humans don't run indefinitely on task completion and rational purpose. We need story. We need beauty. We need the sense that the world we inhabit is worth caring about, that our presence in it matters beyond the functional. Isolation studies are clear on this. Morale in confined environments doesn't collapse when people run out of things to do. It collapses when people lose the sense that what they're doing has a point, when the narrative dries up. And here is the question no curriculum committee on Earth has ever had to answer. What stories do you tell a child born on Mars about what she is? Every human civilization has built itself on a story about where the people came from, why they're here, what they're becoming. Every frontier community that set down roots somewhere difficult had to create a narrative about why, and that narrative was the thing that held them together when everything else tried to pull them apart. Mars will need one too, and it will need to build it from scratch in real time, while the children who will inherit it are already growing up inside it. Think about what those children will understand that no human has ever understood before. They will grasp, at a level that isn't abstract at all, what it means to live inside a closed system. Every breath accounted for, every liter of water tracked. The recycling systems won't be a sustainability lesson. They'll be the infrastructure of daily life, as normal as plumbing. These children will grow up with an intuitive understanding of resource limits that most adults on Earth struggle to hold in their heads even after being explicitly taught. They will also grow up with what developmental psychologists call agency. Sense that your actions matter, that the world responds to you, that you are a participant and not a passenger. Research consistently shows this is one of the most protective qualities a childhood can contain. And on Mars, where every child's contribution is visible and real, where even a 7-year-old understands in a concrete way that the settlement is something people actively maintain together, that quality will be structural, built in from the start. But there is loss here too, real loss. And it deserves to be named honestly. These children will grow up without scale. The largest open space they ever inhabit might be the interior of a greenhouse dome. The closest thing to wilderness they ever experience might be a suited EVA walk, a brief excursion outside in a pressurized suit, crossing a landscape so beautiful and so lethal it would make your eyes ache to see it through the visor. No forests, no rain, no ocean horizon. The research on what natural environments do to human psychology is substantial and consistent. Lower cortisol, better attentional recovery, reduced anxiety. Children with access to open, complex living spaces develop certain capacities more robustly than children who don't. This is measured, replicated data, not sentiment. The architects designing serious Mars habitat proposals know this. It's why they place such emphasis on interior living spaces, gardens, living walls, areas where children can grow food, common spaces filled with soil and photosynthesis. If you cannot give children a forest, you build them the most honest approximation you can manage inside a pressurized shell on a frozen desert world. Whether it's enough, we genuinely don't know. It is one of the most honest uncertainties in all of space, medicine. What we do know, what the entire history of our species insists, is that the children will adapt. Human beings are the most adaptable large animal that has ever existed. We have permanently occupied every climate zone on Earth, from equatorial rainforest to the high Arctic. We did this not through physical evolution alone, but through the extraordinary flexibility of culture, our ability to engineer the environments our bodies need in places where they don't naturally exist. Mars is simply the most extreme version of something we have been doing for a very long time. And children are the most adaptable members of our species. The brain that forms in an unusual environment doesn't experience itself as unusual. It experiences itself as normal. A Mars-born child who has never felt Earth gravity doesn't feel the absence of it. She simply is whatever she is, built by whatever world built her. Her sense of normal will be recycled air and the hum of life support through the night, and an iron-red sky she has looked at since the first day she opened her eyes. That sky produces blue sunsets. Not a metaphor, not a light trick. Genuinely factually blue, because Martian dust scatters light the opposite way Earth's atmosphere does. A child who grows up on Mars will think sunsets are blue, and the first time she sees a photograph of an Earth sunset, all that violent orange and pink, she will feel something no human has ever felt before. She will feel the strangeness of a world she came from but has never seen. Maybe that feels like loss. Maybe it feels like simple curiosity. Maybe the old categories, home, belonging, where you're from, won't map onto her experience at all, because she is the first generation for whom Earth is genuinely, completely the old world, a place of origin, but not home. The school will not be able to resolve that for her. No teacher, no curriculum, no carefully designed lesson plan can tell her what she is. because no one yet knows. She is something new, and figuring out what that means will be her generation's work, not ours. But here is what the school can do. What it will do, if the people building it understand what they're actually building. It can give her the tools to ask the question without fear. It can surround her with a small, deeply bonded community of children who are asking the same question alongside her. It can teach her how systems work and what her role in maintaining them is. It can grow things with her. It can tell her stories. Earth stories, all of them, every culture that ever built something from nothing in a place that didn't want them. And it can leave room, careful and intentional room, for her to begin building stories of her own. Every civilization that ever existed started with a small group of people in a difficult place deciding to try, to build something to stay. Every culture, every language, every tradition human beings have ever created came from that same basic act. We are here, this is our place, let us figure out together what we are. Mars will not be different. It will only be further. The rockets are magnificent. The engineering is extraordinary, but they are not the story. A 7-year-old, nervous, fidgeting with her backpack straps, about to walk through a door into a room full of children who will become, over the coming years, her entire world. That's the story, it always has been.